Hello, welcome. My name is Donna Wootton, and I'm here for Northumberland Festival of the Arts. In this series, we talk to leaders of arts group, artists, and other art lovers in our county. And today I am speaking with the artist, Melanie Browne. Now, I first met Melanie when I came to Port Hope when she worked at the library. So tell me, Melanie, now that you're working as a full-time artist and an art teacher, how is it going for you in Northumberland County?
Hi, Donna. It's going very well in Northumberland County. I could say in Northumberland County, in fact, because part of what is going so well is my incredible collection of students who come from probably almost the whole geographical range of Northumberland County. I left the library, which I loved. I did want to, I look left because there is my collection of art books organized alphabetically by artist. And it is the only thing in my home that is organized really in any systematic way. So I feel that's left over from my wonderful half-time job at the Port Hope Public Library, which in many ways I was sorry to leave, but it also leaving and kind of striking out, I won't say into the wilderness, but striking out and not having that security of a regular kind of day job, as they call it, does create some interesting opportunities and a different way of looking at things. But back to my students, my fabulous students. When I left the library, I started teaching courses and making up 6 weeks worth of classes at a time. I thought I'd start out teaching basic color theory and composition and drawing, and probably cover it in about 6 weeks, maybe 8, and we're still going, and it's about 10, 11 years later. Some of my students were there with me in that very first class, and what they've done is astonishing. It's been very fun. And I do say fun with a capital F, which we remind ourselves of all the time. So that's been a kind of steady gig, but a steady passion of working with talented artists that come from throughout the county. And as you know, it is such an artist-rich place to be, whether that's because it's so beautiful, it's close to the city. Anyway, there are all those reasons, but so it's been wonderful, to answer your question. It's great. I did have a gallery in Peterborough that I had been with for many years, as far as the business side of being an artist here. He closed his gallery to do his own painting. It was Christensen Gallery. But Graham Steele, who bought Oliver Stein's Ganaraska Fine Art, has done an amazing job of expanding the gallery and making it's still a frame shop, but it's more of a gallery, bigger space. He's representing, if you wanted a lovely sampling of wonderful artists' work, who really, I think just about everybody is from this county. He's got it. He has it there. So that's a wonderful connection for all of us visual artists in this area.
Yes, that is wonderful that you have those lovely contacts. And yeah, I've been in that gallery, and he is more than a frame shop. So it's nice to have him there on the main street, isn't it? And I do know some of your students, and it's wonderful that so many of them are so loyal. As you say, they've been with you since the beginning, so you've been able to see them grow. And I know they've talked to me about different outings that you have when you go and paint and on plein air.
On plein air. Yes, and gallery trips. We once rented a bus and went to Ottawa, which was really fun. We should be doing this much more often. Hopefully, when we get out of this pandemic, that will happen. But yes, and they're so open to ideas, Donna. We've done so many different things. We might be looking at artists and what they do and trying out stealing from them, and using things, or we might almost anything I can dream up, their game. My favorite one, perhaps the most out there one, was a course on fractals, which is one of my favorite ideas. And I confess, one or two finished the course and said, "What's a fractal again?" But almost everybody else was right there. So if anyone needs to know about fractals, you can go to any of my students.
Yeah. Well, then what would you say are the greatest challenges in your line of work here?
Well, I think for me, the greatest challenges are the kinds of challenges that would face any artist. Well, depending on personality. For me, it's supreme distractibility, with so many things going on right now. So to center, focus, take the time in the studio that I need, which sometimes is just an hour or two a day. And I find that regularity, perhaps you find this as a writer as well, it's the regularity that we need, the dailiness, even if it's just for me and my students, drawing each day, keeps that soil tilled. And of course, the other visual artist ime is, as my beloved painting teacher years ago, and probably still does, say, that the definition of an artist is a walking bundle of self-doubt. So that's the only other challenge.
Yes, in all art, area of arts. And speaking of art with a capital A, not to get too academic, but what does art mean to you?
Yes, the capital A, art. Art means to me moments of a kind of connection that is unique and wonderful, all unto itself, in and unto itself. It's a felt thing. It's a moment of looking at a painting where you feel this aesthetic movement. It can also be in reading a poem. Reading a poem always strikes me as a moment outside of the regular moments of our day. And looking at a painting, making a painting, and I find I'll be working at something, I'll be kind of working around the edges, and then all of a sudden there I am, I'm in it. And that connection with something mysterious. It is a mysterious thing. We can't say exactly what it is, and that's partly what's so wonderful about it. I'd have to say, a conversion moment when I was about 30, and I was in Holland at the Rijksmuseum, and I was looking at a Rembrandt that just knocked my socks off. I just had to sit down and wipe the tears off my face, and it was so powerful and so delightful and so sweet. and subtle all at the same time. And since then, I've often thought, when I remember that and other experiences like it in looking at art, I just think I want to be a part of that. I want to participate in that somehow, in whatever small a way. I'm never going to be a Rembrandt, but there might be one stroke, one scumbled bit of yellow that just harks back to Rembrandt or whoever. There are so many. And that's kind of enough to
nicely
participate
put.
in that.
Yeah. Because now you do have an academic background in art, don't you?
I do.
Yes.
I do. And it is rather funny as I think of it now. I did my lit studies and art history undergrad, and then I did a grad degree in art history, which I loved. And I loved looking at paintings and looking closely at paintings, but of course they were slides. And then I think this kind of conversion moment happened after all that. Years later, you think it might have started it, but maybe you need to get the engine warmed up to come to a point where you're ready for that interaction. Oh, one other little memory. My sweetheart and I went to Washington a couple of years ago, in the pre-COVID days, and he loves art as well. He's an artist himself, and we went to Washington with a list of galleries we would like to go and see, the Supreme Court building and Lincoln. But the galleries were the main thing. So we had 4 days. The first day we went to the National Gallery of Art. And we thought, we better go back. The second day we went to the National Gallery of Art. The third day and the fourth day. We finally think we covered it. I went running off to get a book for David's mom. And he found in the basement an exhibition of Daumier drawings and the statues. And I missed it. So clearly we have to go back because I'm not done with the National Gallery of Art.
Yes. Good for you. Good for you. Well, coming back to our little area here, what would you say is your proudest moment as a supporter of the arts here?
I feel more supported than as a supporter of the arts. I can't not think of my students and the immense pride I feel when I see the light bulbs going off over their heads, when I see what they're doing, how engaged they are, how they've grown, and how they've tapped into their own sources of inspiration and had shows. They've had shows of their own. To me, the showing part is always, that's to the side, because it's about the creativity. And as soon as you start thinking about showing, you lose that connection that we're all after. So those moments are my proudest moments, are as an art teacher, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and your students love you for that.
I love them back, I must say. It's quite loving coming to classes.
Yeah. No, I do know some of them, and they speak very highly of you. So what are your hopes for the future?
That we move out of COVID,
Yeah.
that we get back to classes, that we get back to seeing each other, to exhibitions, openings. Openings are fun, and be able to give each other hugs. We're hoping to start up class in mid-February, but we have to remain masked and distanced throughout. So that, well, we'll see how that goes. But I love what's happening here. I guess I'd love to see who knows. I mean, my job is what I'm doing in the studio and what I'm doing with my teaching. I'd love to see a co-op gallery open somewhere in this area,
Mhm.
as well as Colburn. Colburn is fabulous. I could see something really thriving in Coburg or Port Hope. Port Hope is changing a lot of younger families coming out from the city. We're getting to be quite the hipsterish
Yes.
spot,
Yeah.
actually. It's really delightful. So that would be a lovely thing to see in the
Mhm.
future, so that there's a place for artists to share their artwork in an ongoing way, perhaps have workshops and talks and bring in, well, maybe a writer to
Yeah.
poetry, all of that. There are some interesting ideas coming along, for a kind of creative space and community garden and just west of town. So things are kind of exciting
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah,
So I just
the
hope to be a part of
development.
that.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
you certainly have lots of different things happening in Port Hope, so that's wonderful. And how can Northumberland Festival of the Arts, do you think, help you and your students to thrive? You've had a look at our at what our mission is, what we're up to.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I confess I was under so much of a misapprehension. I was thinking it was mostly writers.
Mhm.
When I did spelunk around on the site, I found it connected to Spirit of the Hills, which is fabulous. So there's that connection. And the festival that you're putting on in the fall looks fantastic. Um,
Yeah, we would
it's
certainly
great to
like
see.
to include more painters, and there are different artists coming, um, different arts backgrounds, dance and music, playwrights, etc.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful what goes on. And I know I hear a lot from my students about Spirit of the Hills and the opportunities for shows and workshops. And it's amazing. It's such a rich place to be. And this is part of it for sure. If I come up with any spectacular ideas, I'll let you know.
Yes, well, that's good. That's exactly what we want to hear. We want to have people involved. Well, thank you, Melanie, because it's been just wonderful to reconnect with you. It's been a while since I've had the privilege of speaking with you.
It's a pleasure for me, Donna. Thank you very much for asking me and thinking of me for this. It's lovely to be involved in this way.
Good.